Hello, I am Jaime Elizondo from Real World Ranching, and our goal is to help you achieve maximum profitability while you improve your land the fastest. Today, I want to talk about how to keep pests away from your grass without using chemicals or even insecticides. In many parts of the world, different insects, attack our forages. This can have serious consequences as the grass that we were counting on to go into the fall and winter can be consumed by insect pests or destroying it. Today, I am going to go over what has worked for me for many years now. If you know of someone that can benefit from this information I am going to give, please share this link with them. Thank you very much. There are many factors that influence when an insect pest will create problems with your forage or grass. It has to do with temperature, day length, moisture, ambient humidity, growing conditions, etc. This is why insect attacks happen in certain parts of the year, and now we know what those insect pests require. If we study insect pests and their life, we will learn that they have a very simple digestive system, which means they need a simple molecule in their food for them to be able to digest it. If the molecule is complex, like a very complex amino acid or a complex carbohydrate, the insect will not be able to digest it and will go and find better food suited to their simple digestive system. Sounds easy, right? In practice, it is easy. All we need to do is to stop using chemicals in our land and forages and to make sure our plants are fed like nature intended, slowly, on a demand way, from humus and not from synthetic fertilizers or non-composted manure, which floods them with nutrients and sometimes they don't need them, and that makes for simple molecules. By implementing the Total Grazing program, you can increase your soil humus faster than with any other grazing program as we mimic nature and its effects on the land. Remember that in the Total Grazing program we avoid overgrazing, which is returning to regraze before the plant has fully recovered, or a too short a rest period type of grazing, which creates weak roots. So we avoid that. And we do this at high to very high stocking rates, so it is not the usual way of grazing that is taught out there. If you have taken my Total Grazing program course, you know what I am referring to. Okay, so now once your humus content is high enough, your plants will be so high in nutrition and complexity in their molecules that the insect pests will not be able to digest them. The secret is to know how to manage those insect pests in the interval or the time it takes for your soil to achieve a high humus status, where the produce from it cannot be digested by these insect pests. Today, I am going to concentrate on 3 insect pests that cause the most trouble with grasses: armyworm and inchworm, locust, and grasshoppers. The worms, armyworm and the other one, attacks come mainly in the fall or late summer, and we need to know their life cycle to be able to stop them. They start as very small worms, and we can observe them when they are like 1/4 of an inch, but grow fast to where they do considerable damage and can finish off the grass in hundreds of acres if not stopped soon or early enough. And they grow to around an inch, inch and a half, but there are thousands of them. If we monitor closely, we can kill them by spraying Bacillus thuringiensis, sprayed on them when young and small. This is a bacteria that kills them biologically, and it is not a chemical, so it does not harm your precious soil life. Why do I say precious soil life? Because your soil life or soil microorganisms are responsible for the increasing humus content in your soil, which you so much need for the insect pests not to destroy your grasses. First, you need to be aware that humus is formed by the decomposed bodies of these microorganisms that are fed by the root exudates of your plants. Not by litter, by the dead bodies of these microorganisms that are fed by the root exudates of your plants. The higher the leaf-to-stem ratio in your grass regrowth after grazing, the higher the production of energy by your plants for plant productivity or growth and to feed your soil microorganisms. So which type of grazing program creates a better leaf-to-stem ratio in the regrowth? Which type of grazing program creates strong and fat roots and deep roots? You guessed it. The total grazing program, where you will avoid overgrazing and the use of chemicals or synthetic fertilizers on your property. Another pest that I would like to address today is the locust and grasshoppers. This can be controlled before you build up your humus content by placing bait with a fungus that kills them around the borders of your paddocks. Mycorrhiza fungus. This fungus will kill the locusts and grasshoppers from inside out, and as they are cannibals, when another grasshopper locust consumes some of them, they will also be infected and create a chain reaction where they all turn black color and explode into spores that the wind transports to kill even more of them when they are ingested. Once you implement the total grazing program correctly and your soil humus content increases enough, you will not only have protection from insect pests, but you will have much higher productivity per acre at a lower cost and of much higher quality, which equals a healthier livestock and environment. Sounds easy? It is easy, but it takes conviction and time. How long? Well, depending on the environment, from 3 to 5 years for your soil humus content to be high enough to deter insect pests due to the molecules of your forages being more complex than their simple digestive systems can tolerate. But if you spray with insecticide, apply fungicide, use synthetic fertilizers or herbicides, your soil life will suffer. Your soil humus will go down and your plants will become simpler, giving the advantage to the insect pests and diseases. It is very simple, but you need to refuse to use any of those I's, insecticide, fungicide, herbicide, or synthetic fertilizer. Remember, nature thrives on complexity and uses insect pests to destroy plants that are not complex enough to be a high-quality produce. Conclusion and recap. Number 1. Pest insects can be a huge problem for your forages. Conventional farming uses insecticides, chemical insecticides, to combat them and thus perpetuate the problem. 2. Insect pests have a very simple digestive system and require very simple molecules in their food. 3. Forages fed the natural way through humus are very complex in their molecules and cannot be digested by these insect pests, so damage is very low when humus content in your soil is high. 4. For armyworm, inchworm, locusts, and grasshoppers, there are other methods than chemical insecticides that do not damage your precious soil life. 5. It is important to monitor life stages of these pests to kill them without chemicals when they are most vulnerable. 6. For armyworm and inchworm, we can spray with Bacillus thuringiensis, and for locust grasshoppers, we can bait them with metarrhizum fungus. Both of these are very effective if used early on. Don't wait until the damage is observable. You need to go down on your knees and check. 7. It takes from 3 to 5 years after implementing the total grazing program correctly for humus in your soil to be high enough that insect pests cannot digest your forages. 8. Do not use any synthetic fertilizer, chemical insecticides, fungicides, or herbicides, as they will kill your soil life and your humus will go down, making your forages molecules simple and vulnerable to insect attacks. I have seen this many times. 9. Nature thrives on complexity and uses insects to destroy plants that their molecules are not complex enough. And 10. When plants are fed slowly and naturally on demand by humus, their quality and productivity is higher than when fed by synthetic fertilizer. And did I mention that it's also cheaper? Well, I hope you like this podcast and you can put it into practice. Thank you, and until next time, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube, or join us for the weekly email at www.rwranching.com/join. See you later.